Fee, fi, fo, fum.
Oh, those are good sound waves. Lucas, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good. My vocals are warmed up. I'm ready to go.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Yeah.
It's that season again.
You got your period?
No.
Oh.
It's, it was sweater weather. And maybe where you're listening right now, it's sweater weather, which is one of the best times of year. But that also, unfortunately, brings along with it something that we as Americans have come to dread, and that's elections.
Yeah.
Not sorry to bring down, sorry to harsh the vibes. There is an election here in California that's happening, a ballot measure to be more specific. And by the time you're hearing this, both of us will be have voted.
I was going to say, were you about to say dead?
Both of us will have voted in this special ballot measure, Proposition 50, on the ballot in California to redraw our congressional districts for U.S. representatives that we send to the United States Congress to sit with luminaries such as Lauren Boebert, Dan Crenshaw, AOC, and Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Do you think Lauren Boebert has ever been the first in class in anything? Like, why was that the first name that came to your head?
I'm trying to, maybe at like Sober Living, like for doing the dishes or something, or so, I don't think she probably got a star on the poster board for anger management or anything, but I don't know. I don't think so. She's certainly always at the top of the list of dumbest members of Congress, but she always gets edged out by Louis Gohmert of Texas.
Look, you got to respect a woman that brings in a vape illegally, smokes at a children's production of Beetlejuice while giving her boyfriend, while she's still married, over the pants hand job.
Yeah, in case you're curious and you hear this on the day and you're like, I don't know what to do. Us two homosexuals are telling you vote yes on 50. Mm-hmm. It's just one tiny little plug in the leaky dike of American democracy, what we're advocating for right here.
Why did you said leaky dike in my head went to Rosie O'Donnell?
She is a treasure, okay?
I know.
She's a regional treasure.
No, but it is literally, if you are in California, it is one question. Please vote. It took me 2 minutes. It was fun. I got a sticker. My dog got a sticker. It always feels fun to vote.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever voted in person ever.
Really?
Never.
You've always done mail-in?
Always been by mail.
Damn, I think it's way better in person.
I suspect it would be too, but then again, who is the time?
And they're so nice. Every time I go in there, they're these like elderly people. They're in their 70s and they're just volunteering and they're like, thank you for voting.
Yeah, I suppose, a friend of mine became a naturalized American citizen and she voted in person for the first time ever. And she said she was sobbing in the voting booth because it was just this titanic, huge thing that she's originally from China. Mm-hmm. And so voting, no, that's just not a thing you do.
That's cool.
And so for her, it was just, it's so funny because while she was, just a big mess in the voting booth, awed by the privilege, the right that she had as a citizen. So many Chapel Roans is on Harriet Tubman's internet being like, don't vote. They're both the same.
God. What a fucking nightmare. What a bad take.
Yeah.
I mean, love her, but yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't really be that as much as, some might think. I sincerely doubt Chapel Roan had a ton of influence on the 2024 election.
Yeah.
And people were very correct to say you probably shouldn't be getting your political takes from pop singers.
Right.
And in a normal world, that would be 1000% correct. But unfortunately, we are through the looking glass in brain rot girlies era, where people are listening to stand-up comics, pop stars, reality TV star currently running the country. That is where you are. You've got it's the equivalent of like, you got to figure out how to keep people's attention with a message. And at this point, we can't really fall for anything more than just jingling keys in front of our stupid faces.
Yeah.
And that's about as long as our attention span can go for.
What was the first election you voted in? Presidential?
I think it would have been Obama-McCain.
Oh, okay. I was Obama-Romney.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And for that election, you voted 3, 2, 1.
Obama.
Oh. Yes, Obama. Barack Obama voted for him twice.
And you and I are about to head to a camp after this recording ends. So if you don't hear from us, if episode 6 will be out next week. I don't know where episode 7 will be, but
yeah, it's getting bleak out there. It's getting ugly. But you had a fabulous question, a really important question that I think we as Americans really need to spend some time with. And that was, who was the hottest president?
So I thought about this, and sometimes the easy answer is the right answer. And so my head goes JFK.
Mm-hmm.
He just had it going on. Obviously, you know, he was sleeping with all the hotties.
Baddies.
All the baddies as a president, which is kind of messed up, but ultimately, like, whatever. For some reason, Clinton comes out in my head, but then I just can't get the image of him looking just like a red beet out of my face.
Yeah.
Or out of my
he
head.
looks, he's like a claymation VeggieTales looking character.
Obama, very good looking.
Yeah, it's got to be Barack.
But I think for me, it's Joe Biden.
Young Joe Biden was a looker.
Even like 60-year-old Joe Biden, like, is just a good looking, handsome man. Like, I'm not saying I'm fucking Joe Biden when he's 60, 70. I'm just saying, like,
right, because you're about 50 years too late.
Yeah. And I've mentioned, and I'll throw Reagan a bone. Like, he had the like old Hollywood charm.
Dipper?
Was he an absolute monster? Yes. But like, whatever. A decent looking dude.
I lived right down the street from the Hinckley Hilton.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in DC. Oh, God, what a time. I think Barack is obviously, I think, the easy answer. JFK, for his time, sure. He was aging in banana years there at the end.
Right.
It was not good. Yeah, and young Joe Biden could get it, obviously.
Howard Taft.
Oh, a chubby chaser. I forgot you're a chubby chaser in that way now.
William J. McKinley.
Oh, gone too soon. Too soon. God, poor man. And so okay, hottest president, obviously it's Barack Obama.
Well, Biden, but yeah.
And who was your favorite first lady? If you say anything other than Mamie Eisenhower, I'm gonna slap you in the mouth.
Honestly, I mean, I was gonna say Melania Trump just for the Christmas bit, but I can't get through that.
Who gives a fuck about Christmas?
She was right on that, though. She was right on that. God.
Can we talk about those creepy red Christmas trees that she had? Do you remember this? Her Halloween decorations. It was like a fucking dystopian nightmare, upside down world. It was the stark white of the White House hallway, whatever corridor, and the Christmas trees were all red. No green anywhere. It was just red trees. It was utterly fucking insane.
Did she do that as like in response to the previous year when she said the shit about?
I don't know. It was just such a creepy, disturbing image of red Christmas trees.
I do love that she hates him.
Donald?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess. She's a terrible person.
No, I completely agree. But like, I love just the footage of like, he'll like go to like put his hand on her shoulder and she like clearly like.
And then you see her scowl and like exhale heavily. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why she has to go around dressed up like the Babadook everywhere she goes.
I mean, she's fucking in hell. That's why.
And good for her. I hope she stays there because there's something about, I remember in DC, I would go to protests and there would be people in the crowd with signs that would be like, Melania, are you okay? Melania, blink twice if you're okay. Like there was a conspiracy theory that Melania was part of, hashtag the resistance, that Melania was feeding, a bunch of leaks to the press and stuff. And it was just this total fiction where people wanted to, I don't know, excuse the pretty lady. For her terrible behavior. And then she showed up to that camp, that children's prison wearing a jacket that said, I really don't care, do you? Like, you are a fucking monster.
I am just endlessly fascinated by that position. So like, I'm a big Crown guy, the Crown, the TV show. And like, obviously it's about Queen Elizabeth's reign. And also you watch the family around her kind of deal with her position. And Princess Margaret, like, just literally had no real purpose in life other than to just sit there and drink. And then as a result was like a media lush, if you will. So I think the first lady position is interesting because you're just kind of fucked.
Well, I mean, in the U.S., we have two of those positions, both First Lady and Vice President.
Right.
Both of them are just kind of useless figureheads in eccentric costume, to quote The Crown. Mm-hmm. And some First Ladies, you can either run the risk of being like a Lady Macbeth, I'm running the show behind the scenes, which I think was like Eleanor Roosevelt, and then she wasn't even married. She was a first cousin or whatever the fuck. I can't remember the history exactly, but there have been some who've really, been pulling all the levers, and others were just, these figureheads who do nothing, and others are the Babadook, and that's Melania. So it is, I think, my favorite First Lady. I mean, Jackie Kennedy is just all of the...
Oh, yeah, you got a good Jackie.
The glitz and the glam and the tragedy and all. That Chanel suit is in the National Archives and can't be displayed for another, I think, 30 years, something like that. I would love to see that suit.
Listen, I wouldn't get along with Mamie Eisenhower, but I do respect what she did to Jackie Kennedy at the White House tour. Do you want to tell it?
Oh, my God. Mamie Eisenhower famously loathed Jacqueline Kennedy, called her that college girl, because that was an insult back in the day. And Jackie had just given birth and was at the time in January of their year of taking over the White House. And so Mamie was going to give that college girl a tour of the White House. Jackie had just given birth. I don't know how soon after she was taking this White House tour, but very soon after giving birth. And Jackie collapsed. She was so exhausted from the whole thing. And there had been a wheelchair there for her, but it had been left in a closet. And somebody asked Mamie Eisenhower, why did you give her a wheelchair? She collapsed. And Mamie's just like, she didn't ask for one.
What an absolute rotted bitch. I mean, you have to respect it a little bit.
I think the closest we've had to that in our age is the look on Michelle Obama's face as the Trumps took over the White House. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Melania bringing her whatever picture frame, and Michelle's face, and like, I don't want to be here. I'm only here because...
See, I wish I had a cooler answer from like a few hundred years ago, but my head immediately goes to Clinton or Obama. And I love them for two separate reasons. One, I think Hillary was calling the shots a little bit. I think she had a lot to say. Was super active, whatever. And I think Obama was as well. But Michelle, I just loved how real she kept it. Even with like Obama, I can tell like Barack really bugs her. Like I can tell that like he really annoys the fuck out of her. And I appreciate that.
I mean, as a Delawarean, I just adore Jill Biden. Mm-hmm. And Jill she was teaching community college while she was in the White House. So she's the real deal. She's a good woman.
That's the only that's the only First Lady I've ever seen in person.
Oh, Jill?
She showed up at the Minneapolis Pride Parade bike.
Oh, she's fabulous. Yeah. And she also put hands on somebody who tried to rush the stage. And Jill's a fiddle girl. They'll punch you. Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, it's Jackie, it's Jill, it's Michelle. Those are kind of the top three. I forget. I mean, Eleanor Roosevelt, obviously, I adore as just an LGBT plus perspective here.
Yeah. What do you think? She was a lesbian? Do you think there's any truth to that?
Yeah, I think so.
What about Lincoln being gay? Because didn't he sleep with his butler or like one of his like?
Oh yeah, I've completely missed this lore, this Lincoln lore that that period of American history I find so dull, even though it's still so impactful on our current hellscape that we live in. But like, it just, to me, it is so completely uninteresting. I cannot focus on it at all. I also don't like Walt Whitman.
Wow.
Take that.
So when you lived in DC, did you get any politician trade?
I the same way that people show up to Los Angeles with a suitcase and a dream, I showed up to DC with a bottle of poppers and a rotten desire and an unholy desire to stumble across Paul Ryan in a men's room somewhere. I tell you, I don't think I ever hooked up with a politician, God forbid. And if I did, he was smart enough not to tell me he was a politician. I certainly have locked antlers with enough Hill staffers to last me for the end of my days.
Yeah.
And DC is such an intensely boring place, despite all of the intrigue and all of that. It is so tedious and depressingly similar to LA in a lot more ways than you'd think, in that it's all transactional.
Yep.
It's all about who's connected, who, you know, oh, my friend is a staffer for Ilhan Omar. Maybe you can get me a meeting. Like, get the fuck out of my face. It's also, you'll find people, like every nerd you've ever shoved into the lockers in high school, they sort of end up in DC. That's sort of nerd mecca. And they show up and they want to make a difference, and they, you know, work for a representative on the Hill, and they get paid in a couple bottle caps and a ham sandwich per hour to live in a shared house in Adams Morgan with 18 other staffers.
I was that neighborhood though, but yeah.
Oh, sure, it's charming, but you know, you don't want to live there in a group house, in a Mount Pleasant group house. So yeah, the place is lousy with Hill staffers that are all underpaid and overworked. So yeah, I mean, I'm friends with a bunch of staffers. So like during the 2020 primaries, for instance, I got all of the backroom dealing, all the insider, you know, gossip about which candidates were the worst. Amy Klobuchar, far and away the most vicious sociopath.
You've mentioned 2 representatives from the state I just came from.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
did I ever tell you about the staffer that I went on a few dates with? He worked for Ilhan Omar.
Yes.
So I went on a few dates with this guy, and it was during COVID. I was fresh out of a breakup, not looking for anything too serious, but just kind of having some fun. And
as you do.
We matched on like some app, probably Grindr, and he goes, "Can I call you?" And I go, "Sure." And I'm thinking he's going to be like telling me about like the address where we're going to meet, whatever. He's like, "I just want to ask some questions. Like, how serious are you about dating?" And I was like, I don't think too serious, considering we met on Grindr. And he was like, "Okay, well, like," and then just kept asking me these weird questions about like, what are your interests? What are your whatever? And I'm like, "Come on over. You can keep your socks on. This won't take too long. Just whatever you do, get the fuck off of this phone. Quit asking me questions." And so he comes over, we have fun, whatever. And then I think we hang out like maybe one more time. And then I just, you know, whatever, COVID happened, shut down, nobody's seeing anyone. I see this guy like a year later at the Saloon, which is like this big dance bar and Minneapolis gay club. And this was back when I was drinking. So I was like just having fun. My hair was down, my tits were out, whatever.
Classic.
I see him on the dance floor and he goes, "Hey, how have you been?" And I'm like, "Hey,
hello."
And he had dyed his hair blonde, so I like didn't really recognize him. He's a brunette. And so I was like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" And I like kind of was looking at him like, "I don't know who you are and whatever, but I think I do." And he could tell. And so then he was like, "Do you not know who I am?" I was like, "Of course I do." And he's like, "What's my name?" And I'm like, "Nick." And he literally turned around and walked away. Like, I never saw that man ever again.
Ah, that's delightful. Last night we were at a birthday party, and I was talking to a dame who's a comedian, fabulous comedian, Olivia Flood Wiley. And I had been on a lineup with her. We performed together. And I hadn't remembered, just don't have a great memory for faces in general. I'd asked her, like, "Oh, where did you grow up?" Which is, that's not boring. Exactly like, sure, yeah, it's boring. But she stops her, she's like, "We've met before." I
appreciate that.
And I just looked at her and I said, "You're shouting at me."
No, I'm Team Olivia here. I love that.
With those moments are so, you got to think quick. Okay. And usually, I'll gaslight the other person.
Right.
And I tried with her, and then she said, "I'm almost positive." I said, "Oh, you think gay people all look the same?" And there was this beautiful moment where she doubted herself, and then she said, "No, we were at the Comedy Store together." And I said, "Damn it." She's, I can't.
That's fucked up of you to forget someone you met at the Comedy Store. And
do you know how many people one meets at the Comedy Store?
One meets?
One meets many at the Comedy Store.
I took one meets as WON meets. MEATS. I thought it was a meat raffle. I thought she was going home with a Christmas ham, bitch. I did not. English is hard.
Pepperidge Farms, remember?
I'm not even kidding. I thought she won a meat. meat.
Yeah. Do you know how many times she's won meets?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Anyway, so Hill staffers, they're basically interchangeable. I was much more fond of campaign staffers. Now those people know how to have a time.
Yeah.
It's maybe not going to be a great time, but they know how to have a time. And 2020, the primary, it was wild in DC. Like the battle lines were drawn because it was, this was the big one, right? 16 was big, 20 was bigger. And so you didn't see anybody with Biden gear in DC. And if you saw somebody wearing a Biden shirt, you'd be like, ew. Like, yeah, okay, like that's going to happen. And then the Liz Warren campaign staffers were the worst. They were the worst people.
Look, if there's a Harry Potter sorting hat for like the 2020 Pete's, I would have been Elizabeth Warren.
Ooh, couldn't be me. The Pete Buttigieg staffers were all really uptight gay people. And I naturally, my damage and pathology is that I need to push these people to their limit and their breaking point. I need to break them open and see if there's anything inside that's interesting to look at.
You weren't in DC for 08, were you?
Was I? No, I was in college at that point.
Because my roommate lived in DC forever. He still works on a bunch of campaigns like all over the country, but he worked on Obama's campaign. And Obama wasn't the front runner to start. It was Hillary Clinton.
Yep.
And then when the tide started to turn, Chelsea Clinton kind of got involved and kind of did the whole like, my mom is so much more experienced than him, blah, blah, blah. And like the Obama campaign like latched onto her. And there's this huge like news segment of like, Chelsea Clinton is a like psycho. And like she attacked all of these campaigners and
I remember hearing, because DC is such a maelstrom of tedium in so many ways that like
I love DC.
It's got its charms. It really does. Great museums. The people there, you can find circles obviously anywhere you go of people who are worthwhile. The DC rat race maybe just because politics is where it is right now, it's just even more pointless and nihilistic than it has ever been, perhaps.
Do you think the gay bathhouse there is purposely scary?
I've never been.
Really?
I've never been to Crew Club.
No, terrifying.
Really? Oh, God. I know of a couple of the boys I knew from DC who worked, like federal jobs and then started OnlyFans. They would do there's what was called like a creator night at the Crew Club where you would film content.
Yeah.
And then of course all of them are doing that, but like, kids, you just wish you were the Senate twink.
Yeah.
You animals just wish you had the fucking chutzpah to go into that Senate hearing where Sonia Sotomayor was grilled.
Right.
And get drilled.
Right.
Okay.
And obviously, like, you're having, like, sex in these places. But, like, if you go to a bathhouse in, like, Amsterdam, Sydney, Australia, these are, like, gyms where you can, like, actually, like, go and just hang out in the hot tub. And if you have sex, you have sex. But, like, the DC one is just, like, dungeony.
Oh, I've never been. I've never, ever once set foot in there. And I regret that. I wish I'd gone.
Yeah.
Just because it seemed like an extra layer of filth, which is maybe the one thing I really actually loved about DC was as soon as you sort of, like, it's very buttoned up, but as soon as you got that first button undone there, you ran the risk of finding absolute depravity. And I find that juxtaposition often is really interesting to be around if you can hang on.
Yeah.
So,
no, I'm telling you right now, I walked in there and I was with my friend. I said, absolutely not. And I walked right back out.
Oh, dear. Yeah. Well,
we did one loop and I was like, nope, Republican will kill me in here.
Oh, I see. Yeah, no, they're a lot more scared of you than you are of them, generally.
Very true. Except they're easily shocked.
They're easily startled, but they will be back in greater numbers.
Jesus.
Aaron Schock. What do you think he's doing right now?
He's probably on some billionaire yacht. He's got a better gig now than he did being a congressman. He's just got less media, so he probably hates it. But
there's so many freaks. There's so many just bug-eyed reptiles who live in DC and, show up and they just want to sidle up to the trough and drink the slop. And he was one of those creatures.
Do you believe in redemption? Like, so for those of you who don't know, Aaron Schock, he was a congressman in Illinois, a Republican congressman. He is notorious for having redecorated his office to match shot for shot, the Downton Abbey office. And when questioned about it, he's like, I've never even seen that show. And it's like literally a remake of it. Like his office looked exactly
decorated precisely.
Yes. He later came out as gay. He was outed. And then in his apology letter, because he had voted against, gay marriage, he was pretty much like, you just have to understand the time and the environment. It was 2008. Even Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama were voting in favor of gay marriage. And it's like, yeah, that's fine and dandy. Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton are not gay. You are fucking gay. You are a homo.
This is the thing why I have a tough time with extending that olive branch or, letting somebody back into the fold. And he's, of course, back in the fold because he's a traditionally good-looking, muscular white man with money. So he was never thrown out. You know what I mean? He was never cast out. But faggots like him who are going to side with today's Republican Party where, Kim Davis has brought more legal challenges trying to get the court to finally overturn Obergefell. Mm-hmm. That's the pipe dream, right? They overturned abortion. There's a distinct possibility if they go through the Fifth Circuit, which is an extraordinarily conservative court, stuffed to the gills with Trump appointees. It's not unthinkable that this Supreme Court would hear the case and then overturn it and make it a fucking nightmare, patchwork of states' rights, etc.
It literally just happened this week in Texas.
Yeah, right. So it's not, and faggots like Aaron Schock, you are, if you're listening, you are a miserable turncoat faggot. You should go on a healing journey. They are betting their money that if they just stand up and reveal themselves as one of the good ones, quote unquote,
right,
that they'll be safe. And you see a couple other awful homosexuals, usually white gays, who are very keen to be like, I'm gay. I don't know what the whole trans thing is about.
And sometimes they get fisted on the internet and have videos public. Well, okay, we gotta bleep that probably, but.
He could go fuck himself. I wish him healing as well. There's a movement among white gay men and probably just other gay men in general who are like, the trans thing is too far. Divorce the T from the LGB.
No.
And none of them understand that as soon as the Republican Party, as soon as the modern MAGA movement runs out of trans people, we're next. Like that is 1,000%. There's no other outcome. Mm-hmm. They're not going to suddenly, woo, glad we took care of that problem. Everything's fine again. No, they're going to see big, Nelly, effeminate, beautiful, arrestingly handsome homosexuals like myself. And they're like, I feel threatened.
And then dumpster pigs like me will be safe.
And big dumpster pigs who grow up under a tire in North Dakota, like you, who can grow facial hair that connects.
Yeah. Jesus.
That's the logical progression of all these things.
Straight men in this country are so scared of assholes. It's fascinating.
Yeah, I just did a 15-minute mic at 10 a.m. at the Hollywood Comedy, and one of the comics was talking about getting a bidet, and he had to very much be like, no, it's
what is
health reasons.
Literally, it cleans your ass.
Yeah,
clean your ass.
To his credit, he had a fabulous set. It was actually he had a very good set, and it was fine. But I mean, there was still that subtext like, oh, it's butt stuff. I gotta be. Anyway, that's all a very long thing. Redemption, maybe you got to put in the fucking work. And Aaron Schock, you have a lot of fucking work to do.
Yeah, he was at like Mar-a-Lago, Razors nonstop.
And I have friends who voted for Trump. I have gay friends who voted for Trump.
I don't.
One in particular who lives in Miami. Is he a good person? Probably not. Do I treasure him? Absolutely. Yeah. I've known him for a long time. And usually he and we get into relatively heated political discussions. And I'll always end the conversation with him. I'll text him and I'll say, I treasure you. It's like the release bell, right? To walk back from viewing him as, oh, you're you want fascism. You think you're one of the good ones.
To me, and as we know, I'm from North Dakota, so lots of Republicans, my whole family pretty much. And so like, you will never ever convince me to stop a relationship with my father. Like, that's just not going to happen, because if shit hits the fan and someone comes for me, my dad's not letting him, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's whipping out his drill rifle and like going to protect me. Like, that's just, my dad loves me. I love him. That relationship will never be severed. When it comes to other gay people, though, I really, really struggle, because it just feels like they're clinging on to the ideology of their parents. It seems like they're trying to still win their parents' love. It's like the one thing they can offer after disappointing them. And it's like, that is just so self-hating. Mm-hmm. And to vote against your best interest is just so irresponsible.
Yeah. I mean, so I remember when I lived in Salt Lake City, I dated a Mormon, which I don't recommend. It seemed like a good idea at the time.
I love an ex-Mormon. I love listening to their takes on things.
Sure, yeah. He was still very much a current Mormon, and very, very, very repressed. Very much, carried the cross on his back of being a gay conservative Republican. Yeah. And he was of the stripe of gay that's like, it was harder to come out as a Republican than as gay. Like, Mary, And to him, it was purely a function of big versus small government. I'm an Eisenhower Republican. Like, no, that's not a thing anymore.
No.
My darling man I'm dating, please understand the party that you are throwing in with despises every fiber of your being.
And then Joe Manchin retired.
Joe Manchin. Yeah, he really was out in these streets being like, yeah, big government is the problem and the national debt is too high. He was one of those people. And I remember the Mormon church, when I was living there, the Mormon church had, I guess, come up with a new rule, where they said that children kids whose parents are in a same-sex relationship cannot be, I forget what the word is, but, they can't be a part of the church.
Down.
Yeah, you can't. I may be baptized. I can't remember exactly. Any of my Stephen and Colin out in Salt Lake City, please. Where operators are standing by.
So if the kid gets adopted and has no choice in who adopts them, they go to hell.
They could not be. They were not welcomed into the fold. And I remember telling the guy who received them, I was like, "That's really gross and cruel to the children." Mm-hmm. And his take was, "It's a private club. They can make whatever rules they want. I support it." And I was like, "Oh wow." Huh.
Yeah. Huh. I mean, at least he admitted it's a club. Yeah.
I think that's a rotten opinion to have. I think.
So could you ever date someone that doesn't have the same shared value system politically as you?
Depends on how much daylight there is between our shared value systems. I mean, could I date a Marxist who, wants to abolish private property? No, probably not.
Right.
Could I date a hardcore MAGA Republican? No, obviously not.
Yeah.
I think, my David, may his memory be a blessing. He was, in his day, in the 90s, he was a Republican, pagan Republican. Oh yeah. Very Angels in America. Oh. And, he clerked for Sam Alito, the second worst justice on the Supreme Court after Clarence Thomas.
Yeah.
And just a different time. And my David had a very big change of heart as he, got to be older and learned more about the world, et cetera, et cetera. I don't want to make it seem like naturally becoming better means you become more liberal. That's not necessarily what I'm saying. I just, David changed and left behind that way of viewing the world. I suspect there was a lot of daylight between David's and my political opinions, but we never really dove deep into the weeds with it because that's tedious.
There's about 60 years of difference between the two of you, too.
Dear Bird. There's 20. I'll thank you very kindly to observe that. So yeah, I certainly am not the sort of person who's like, you need to be a registered Democrat. I'm not really on board with it. If you're I'll tell you what is going to be an issue. If you're the sort of person who puts more stock in a social media post proving that you're on the right side of history, then we're going to fight. I don't give a single fuck about what did you post a black square during the, get out of my face.
it really bothers me. And I hate to gripe on it because ultimately it is like, I'm so glad that people get riled up and whatever, but Instagram is not the same as activism. Like, it's just not. Mm-hmm. And it does sometimes feel like brand recognition rather than you actually care about something. I remember after the George Floyd murder, I was living in Minneapolis at the time. There were all these protests going. And I have a friend who literally came to a protest, took a photo of himself, a selfie with the crowd behind him, left right away. I found out he went to a park nearby where they were playing Lady Gaga's new album. Chromatica had just come out. So I was like, that was all just for show. That none of that was real.
Yeah, it is offensive because there's so much to actually be done. Mm-hmm. There is so much that one could ostensibly do. And if you fall into the wrong rabbit holes, right? Like, there's some of my most obnoxious left-wingist friends that I know. I've just muted all of them on social media because every fucking post of theirs is like, sometimes you can't vote yourself out of autocracy. If you're voting, you're part of the problem. You gotta burn it down.
They're
like,
crazy.
I can't with that. Like, Lady Bunny, who I adore, is a great example of one of those people who, she's not wrong on the merits. Like, she's not wrong that the two-party system is hopelessly corrupt. She's not wrong that, Chuck Schumer is a reptile who only wants to ensure his own wealth and power. Mm-hmm. All of that's great, well and good, but there's never ever, what's the phrase, like, hurt him and heal him? There's never a healing portion to that. It's just always pointing out that we're gerbils on the wheel is not great.
Well, and ultimately, you're just like, you're not going to win. You're not going to be happy. You're going to complain either way. So you have to pick the lesser of two evils. Unfortunately, in this country, you have to.
There's also the other thing where I think somewhere along the way, we seem to think that voting is all you need to do to keep the wheels on the thing. And that's simply not the case. Voting is the actual bare fucking minimum that you need to do to make sure society functions properly. Right. Like, I get it, go to work, don't run people over on the intersection, and recycle. Great. That's all well and good. But like, there's an entire element of, this is going to sound so hackney, but community building. Mm-hmm. Like, you actually get out and meet your neighbors, whatever the fuck, whatever. This is why, like, the church is such a huge social force, because it's sort of the one last place where people can just gather that isn't work or home, right? Mm-hmm. And it does things in a community and brings people together, blah, blah, blah. There's, what the advent of social media and phones and us sort of all being sucked into our own private lives and algorithms, you're never ever in the public square in any real way anymore, except to get a bullhorn from whatever, I guess, isolated little wing of the internet you find yourself in, to yell at other people for using the wrong pronouns to describe an Egyptian pharaoh or a Roman emperor, excuse me. I think it was Elagabalus is now in the British Museum, has changed the pronouns they use for Roman Emperor Elagabalus, famously one of the worst emperors in Roman history, viewed themselves as not a man, not woman, or viewed themselves as transgender. So they're officially, capital T transgender Roman emperor. But it ignited this firestorm of people who had an opinion to be like, pronouns are stupid. And then the other people, like, I can't believe you named an emperor. Just, it's easy to lose the plot in that way. And if you're not, this is why touch grass is an important, suggestion, because like, oh yeah, once you do get out into the world, like, it doesn't.
It's so fascinating. My first job out of college, I worked in a cube land. It was on the basement, very dark, whatever. And I remember just fucking hating that cube. I felt like a caged lion in there. I drove by the Netflix headquarters on Sunset the other day, and I looked into their their building, and someone had like birthday balloons up on their cube, and there was like a group of people surrounding them, and they were all like hanging out. And I was like, I kind of want to be in a cube again.
Ooh. Could not be me.
No, I'm serious. They all I work from home, and so do you. And like, we're also, and I love it. It's like, you get a flexible life, but that community part of it, I was like, damn.
I miss precisely nothing about an office life whatsoever.
They get served breakfast and lunch there for free every day.
Yeah, it must be nice to work for one of the tech companies that's completely melting American brains.
You're missing the point, which is community. You fucking dirtbag asshole. Our governor just didn't do shit about AI because of big tech. So not to get on the Daddy Newsom hate train, but
Yeah.
I did hate that he did not do anything about AI. And
Yeah, bummer, wicked bummer. So, the protests here in LA. I mean,
well, and really special too, because it's like, it is cool. Like the No Kings protests, like so peaceful, so fun. It's inspiring to see that many people, because contrary to Instagram, you might see like, 100 or something, but like the No Kings protest, that was thousands and thousands and thousands. And so that gives you hope, and that's good. My beef sometimes comes with the social activism online, because it does just feel like, like brand, like we're all our own personal brand now. And it just doesn't seem like we're on the same team always.
But also you run the risk of like, so for me, I did a lot of protesting in 2020, the George Floyd protests in DC, and those, fortunately, no protest I saw or was a part of ever got violent.
Oh, bitch. Minneapolis was wild.
Yeah, I very nearly did get caught up in that St. John's Church stunt that Trump did when he fucking tear gassed Lafayette Square to walk over to hold the Bible up. I biked there after work just to get out of the apartment. It was pretty much empty. So this is again the activism, like the weird side of protesting. I was there relatively empty, and at that time the White House was surrounded behind black fences, very mesh fences, all are fortified. And so in the square, there was no traffic, there was no nothing. And so there was one man, a protester, lying down in the center of the street as part of his demonstration. And I remember like a couple, an Asian woman and a white man, they were on like their evening jog. And the woman, she's clearly like a little winded, so she's got her hands on her hips and she's like, and the guy is on the ground, I guess, miming that he's been shot by protesters. And then she goes, "I can't breathe, guys," to like 4 people. Yeah. And she goes, "I'm sick of it." The way you'd scold children who didn't pick up dirty laundry. Yeah. Like, what? That was the thing, is like, I'm going home. This is not for me. I'm leaving. And then an hour later, whatever protesters had collected there, they all got tear gassed, and I'm sure they've led long and happy lives.
Minneapolis during the George Floyd thing, the military, there was tanks on every fucking corner. Yep. I lived a block away from the courthouse where Chauvin got like his hearing. I had a bag packed for if he was not guilty. Yep. Thank God. But they were driving around the city shooting at people who were sitting on their porches. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, they made you go inside. I was on the bridge where this huge semi-truck went through all these different barriers, and it ended up not having anything to do with him, hating protesters, but he drove right into a crowd of 1,000 people. People considered jumping off the bridge into the water. I mean, my friend Rachel came to my apartment and stayed over like that night, and she had her car parked outside, and I was living in a bigger building, and I all of a sudden just heard this thud. She's like deep into her phone, and I go over to the window and I'm like, "Oh man, there's a homeless guy who picked up one of those cigarette towers, and he's whacking it against this car." And Rachel's like, "Oh, that sucks." She's just staring at her phone, doesn't really care. And then I'm like, "Oh shit, Rachel, that's your car." And she goes, "What?" She runs over to the window. She opens it. She goes, "Hey man, fuck you. That's my car." And then he comes over and he's like, "Is this your car, you hick bitch?" And then she goes, "Yeah." And then right there was a dog relief station. And so he takes the dog relief station, which has bags of dog shit in it, and dumps it all out over her car. And she goes, "No!" Like, we're just helpless. And then I'm like, Rachel, and me being just a gay faggot, I made it about myself. I go, "Rachel, I don't really like that he knows where I live." And so then she's like, "What do we do?" I mean, it's very stressful and whatever, but we end up calling the police to report it, which I later feel bad about.
Part of the problem.
I'm wearing a Black Lives Matter shirt when they show up. So I go down to greet them because Rachel's too stressed, and I go, "Yeah, this car was just vandalized. We just need a ticket for the insurance." Yeah. They write me the ticket, and then the officer was a woman. She looks at my shirt, and I'm like, and I didn't even wear it. That was literally just what I was wearing. Yeah. And she looks at my shirt, writes me a ticket, and just leaves. And I'm like, "Are you not even going to clean up the dog shit?" So Rachel and I,
wow, 0 stars.
Rachel and I are picking off dog shit from her fucking car. It was wild.
Yeah, that is possibly the worst time to, want to protect your property like that. Do you remember that couple from St. Louis when the marches were going by and they just came out with guns from their houses and they spoke at the Republican National Convention?
God damn. Kyle Rittenhouse.
Oh yeah, Kyle Rittenhouse. What a child. Looks like a sculpture made out of hand. My God. I think that there's no good, easy way out, maybe is the problem. And because everybody's attention spans are so fried and because everybody is so pressed for energy, empathy, time, money, you just can't, all you can do is like, does the thing I'm voting for hurt the people I despise? Great. Let's do it. That's fine. We're going to have to put pronoun checks on every single interstate border if the Democrats win. Fuck it. Okay, that's fine. That'll maybe maybe the big message, like, it doesn't have to be this awful. And you should reasonably expect better from your elected politicians.
What do you think about oldies being in office? Should there be an age cutoff?
Obviously depends on the old person, right? Like Dianne Feinstein, yeah, you need to fucking go out and be put out to pasture. Thank you for your service. Please enjoy the banana pudding. And you've earned it. Have your time off. Chuck Schumer, have a seat. Have every seat. Take every seat. Get the fuck out. I'm disinclined to say, yes, there should be an upper age limit. But then again, they just don't let go of power. So sure, the 70, 75? I don't know.
I feel the same way because our past two presidents are very old. Too old. Both of them don't make sense when they talk. You look at someone, Elizabeth Warren, who's their same age. Maybe she's like 5-6 years younger, but like that woman is like pretty put together. Hillary Clinton, when she talks, seems a little bit put together. You know what I mean?
An age limit, upper age limit wouldn't even be a question if the boomers would just fuck off already. Totally. If Chuck Schumer, if the Nancy's Pelosi and the Mitches McConnell of the world would be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go retire. And
every single name has 3 or 4 houses, by the way, that you just mentioned. Right. On both sides. That's something we agree on.
If
Bernie Sanders, I love him, admire him, 3 houses.
God, whereas Amy Klobuchar, a relentlessly efficient and merciless senator from Minnesota, gets a lot done. Bernie Sanders has passed no legislation. Yeah. I think he's renamed several post offices.
And look, I admire him a lot. He stands for what he believes in and whatever. The 2016 thing, that will always just piss me off. I'm sorry. But I admire him. He's respectable to me. But yeah, you do need to know how to get shit done. Yeah. We all have productivity reports at our jobs. And to have 0 at the end of your scorecard, whether you're Bernie or Marjorie Taylor Greene, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, Bernie Sanders, like you said, stands for what he believes in. He's done a lot of good to, move Overton windows and such to get people more acclimated to Medicare for all. That is all really, really important, really good. But, it doesn't fucking matter if you don't win.
Right.
That's really what everybody here is in the US, everybody's losing. The only people who are winning are CEOs of major institutions and organizations. Mm-hmm. Elon Musk keeps winning, and he deserves it not even a little bit.
No.
And the boomer generation that, gets to just coast off into the sunset, eat Social Security up until there's nothing left.
God.
And then, also, the Koch brothers get to heat the planet up until now it's 80 degrees in almost November.
Oh.
Do you remember when winters were cold? Autumns were cold?
Girl. Don't please.
Not to harsh the buzz or anything. But hey. So your favorite first lady?
Fuck it, Mamie.
Yeah, it's Mamie Eisenhower, just for the cruelty. I think if you were to run for office, what would your slogan be?
I need a gay bathhouse in every single major metropolitan area in this country. I believe as homosexuals need a place where we can be free.
Because, listen, not being able to have sex in Penn Station is fascism.
Okay, I love that you brought that up because, so for those of you who don't know, Penn Station, biggest subway station in New York. there was a cruising spot, which was just a bathroom in Penn Station. And these faggots got caught, which is like, whatever.
Say that word with love.
We say that with love, but they got caught, they got arrested, and then it was a big news story. And the comment section of the New York Times on that article, all these gay people being like, fascism's arrived. And it's like, no, you cannot have public sex. Like, that is bad. Like,
now, hold on.
I'm not judging you, whatever. My advice is don't get caught. Like, do it if you want, but just don't get caught. You got caught. It's illegal. That is not fascist. You cannot suck dick while someone else is next to you shitting. Like, that's just not it.
Yeah,
Which brings up why I think we need bathhouses in every metropolitan area in this country.
If I were to have been a businessman, man of business, who did business, I would have opened up a bathhouse in Salt Lake City.
Oh, shit. That's scary, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
Would have been zoned out of existence within...
Or shot up.
Well... I mean, that's shooting in there. If you're not a sort of been blasted. So, I don't know.
What's your cause?
My cause. I mean, my platform. I mean, my slogan would be "Let the dream die." We have been sold a bad bill of goods. We have been sold a rotten, no good, dumbest, ain't done nothing for no oneist bill of goods. We are banking on credit that is far overdue. Our cows are coming home to roost, and our chickens, the metaphor falls apart. There's maybe in some places the fiction exists still as a reality that if you work hard and are a good person, you'll get ahead. Good luck. Good luck. You're going to need it. I don't know maybe AI is the big moment where, everybody gets put out of work, truck drivers, cab drivers. I mean, every time I get into a Waymo, I think, oh yeah, that's one less Uber driver.
Yeah.
That's someone now who's competing with robots that can't ever fatigue, that don't have bladders, that need to, stop off and take an hour break. I mean, AI is coming for trucking for sure.
Well, I mean, we have robots who are delivering Subway sandwiches.
Robots are delivering food.
While homeless people are laying on the street.
Yeah, they're rolling over homeless people.
Literally.
And it's just, none of these jobs, I mean, I keep reading about, AI coming for the legal profession, for instance, like AI coming for the medical profession. They're using AI to read, charts for a radiology chart. Those people can afford to lose a job. A radiologist will be okay while they go back to school for massage therapy or whatever the fuck. But AI taking the job from Uber drivers, from Uber Eats drivers, from Uber pool drivers. The gig economy is the last rung before you end up just completely fucking destitute. So the more people that are out of work, the Marxist thinking goes, you finally achieve solidarity with any form of critical mass that is able to meaningfully threaten an institutional power. How that happens, I don't fucking know. Because the institutions of power in this godforsaken country have a lot of military hardware backing them up, and AI-powered drones, and AI-powered killing machines, courtesy of Palmer Luckey of Palantir, I think Palantir. One of those Silicon Valley edgelord crypto libertarian fascists who are going to inherit the earth, unfortunately. This also
I'm going to jump off this bucket balcony.
So build community. Host a dinner party. At 3 p.m. in the afternoon in the sunlight, have you ever felt the rain on your skin? Have you opened up the dirty window? Let the sun illuminate the words you cannot find?
She's coming out with a new album, and when asked about it, she's like, this is just for gays. She literally was just like, I just want to make gay people happy.
Yeah, I was going to say me too, but that's actually not even true. I am here to destroy some gay people. Aaron Schock, you have been warned.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We got kind of serious here, but I think it's necessary when it comes to voting, don't you? Even us comics, even us goons, us clowns.
Even a clown can cry. And, voting, yes, voting is important. even now, even when you've been gerrymandered within an inch of your life, voting is important. It is also the bare fucking minimum. That is the least you can do to involve yourself. You don't have to be front and center at the marches. You don't need to be punching cops in the face.
Yeah.
You can, I mean, I did this in 2020. There's a great organization called Vote Forward, which sends letters to undecided voters and people who are unlikely to vote. You handwrite a letter. They give you a template. You handwrite a letter. You stamp it and you mail it off. And somebody in whatever swing district that you're hoping is going to vote, and they're probable Democratic voters, they get a letter, they read it, they're statistically more likely to vote. So it juices turnout by, I think their research finds like almost 2% in some precincts. So it's meaningful results, especially in real razor-thin margins that can swing an election. I wrote 240 letters, I think, in 2020.
Damn.
I hand wrote 240 letters to send out to undecided voters. So you can do that. You can march, you can protest, you can organize, you can do whatever the fuck. But if you're the sort of person like, I don't fucking vote, it doesn't matter. Like, yes and no. You're not entirely wrong. You're also not entirely right.
Right.
So for anyone out there, if you're feeling like the American political system is completely beyond repair, is completely hopeless, you're right, sort of. There's no easy, quick fix. There's only going to be incremental fixes, and everybody wants the big, splashy, the dictator's banner falls off of the front of the fucking Department of Justice and you put up the new flag and everything's restored. That's not how the fucking world works, generally. Even when, the Khmer Rouge was thrown out from Cambodia, that was a genocidal regime that killed millions upon millions of its own people. When they were thrown out by the Vietnamese, it was not night and day.
Right.
They are still suffering from the consequences of the Khmer Rouge, and none of you a-holes listening probably know what that was, which is a shame because that was also a genocidal dictator that, got a lot of aid and comfort from the United States. Like, we had a hand in creating Pol Pot. We had a hand in creating so much instability around the world. So, I've been drinking. Henry Kissinger is another person who I regret that I'm too late to destroy, but that man it is perhaps one of the grossest historical ironies that he lived such a long life.
We got to wrap it up here quick, but I do want to bring this up. How tragic is it that most of the time the first female prime minister, president, whatever of countries always is conservative?
Yeah, it is another one of those tragic ironies. I mean, if we get an Erica Kirk as president, I will eat my hat. Which means I'll have to start wearing hats made out of sugar. People hate women so much. Yeah. They just despise women, and they cannot conceptualize a world where women are calling the shots. And so a woman has to do her best man drag and conservative drag to get through the door. I mean, Sanae Takaichi in Japan,
we were there when she got elected.
She's a great example of this. Giorgia Meloni in Italy, Alice Beidel, I think is her name in Germany. Alice für Deutschland, like a little wink and a nod, like Alice für Deutschland. That's, nauseating, but that's the dumb upside down world we live in. I think for women in office, good luck. I don't know what to say. You either have to be a horrible cartoon like Lauren Boebert and just be a complete shit stir, or a Neanderthal like Marjorie Taylor Greene, or you have to suffer an ignominious defeat, a la Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton.
Right.
And then everybody gets to just look back and be like, could have been so much better. And it could have been better.
Yep.
But we're here now.
Right.
And we're all we've got. Let the dream die, kids. No one's coming to save us but us.
Today is November 4th, as of the release of this podcast. Please vote.
And vote in your